Welcome to Dark Creation Studios. In this video, we'll be showing you guys how to add shadows and highlights to your drawing. So let's get into it. Alright guys, so as you can see, we already have our character already colored in. And if you guys want to know how to fill in the colors, we did a video where we show how to add colors. You guys could feel free to check that out. But we're going to go in here and we will create a new layer above the color layer. And we're going to just call that shadows. Next, we'll just go ahead and we'll set the layer to clipping mask. And what this does, it will just allow for when you're doing your shadows to not let it bleed out. So it will stay confined within the actual drawing. Alright guys, so now we could go ahead and we could select a purple color. And this will have to be the exact one we have here. It could be any purple. Go ahead and set it to multiply. And from there, we could actually start adding in the shadows. Okay guys, so for the shadows, we're going to start off with the hair right here. And notice when we go in putting in the shadows, we're keeping it on the right because we're going to establish that the light coming from the left of the character. So if the light coming from the left of the character, everything else on the right side should be pretty much in shadow. So that's kind of like how you have to think about it. And then we just really continuing that process as we go along right here. And this process of adding shadows is what people would call cel shading. It's the most popular use of doing shadows. It have other ways to do shadows, but you'll see this a lot in cartoons, anime. But there's a shadow method I like to do, or I should say the shadow method I could actually do. So yeah, so we're just going in here. And right here underneath the bangs, you can see we adding shadow to the forehead area. Because think about it, if you have bangs covering your forehead, it will kind of cast a shadow right under there. So you kind of like how to keep that in mind too, like what could cast shadows, folds as cast shadows as well. And also you can see right underneath here by the under the neck, you can see it will cast a shadow. And just like what we mentioned before about the folds, you can see we putting like shadow underneath the folds right here. And yeah guys, that's how you kind of had to think. You had to think what will cause a shadow. But trust me, over time as you do it more and more, it started to get like easy. But you can see as we go through, we just focusing, like I said before, putting the shadows on the right side of the character, because we established that our light will be coming from the left side. So that is what we're going to be focusing throughout the drawing as we continue adding in the shadows. Feel free to slow down the video so you could follow along, because we just going to go through it slightly a little fast, because it's a full body character and it have a lot to cover. So please sit back and relax while we speed through, and we'll be back. Alright guys, so we back, and you can see the character already popping off the page right now. And we did also turn down the opacity of the layer to 40%, so you guys could feel free to mess around with those settings. But yeah, that what shadows would do. It will give the character more dimension. It will keep it from looking less flat. And you can really see the difference as we turn on and turn off the layer right here. So with that being said, we could go in and add in the highlights. Okay guys, so like before, we're going to create another layer, but this time we're going to name it highlights, and it will be underneath these shadows. select a yellowish color, and we'll go ahead and set the layer to color dodge. And now we could go in and start adding the highlights. So similar to the shadows, we're going to start off with the hair, but we're not going to go into too much detail explaining because it's pretty much similar to adding in the shadows. So we add in the highlights to the left side of the hair right here. And for the highlights, remember we say we light source coming from the left, so we'll put our highlights on the left side of the character. And we just go and do that all the way throughout the drawing. So feel free to slow down the video, we just go and go through it slightly faster. But you can see how the highlights really giving the drawing that glow. So that's what we're really trying to achieve with adding the highlights. It really will add a lot more to the drawing. It will make the drawing feel more lively. And remember guys, don't feel like this is a chore, like actually have fun with it. You know, like sometimes I hate doing shadows, but when I go in there and actually apply the shadows, I put in the time to actually do it, and I look back at the end results, it really make the drawing look really good. So that is something you guys could apply. You could apply shadows to your drawing, you could apply the highlights as we're doing right here. And lastly right here, we're going to do something slightly different. For the shoes, we're going to add some white highlights, so we'll create a layer above everything and call the highlights 2. And we're going to go in and add some white highlights to the shoes. And then we could also add it to the glasses right here, the sunglasses. And we will make sure the opacity down for this as well. And then we will add some highlights to the eyes. But you guys could keep it pure white if you want. There's just a personal thing for me. I think it look a lot better just dimming down the opacity slightly. But with that being said, bam! There you have it guys, the final results. We hope you learned something, we hope you enjoyed, and we hope to see you guys on the next one. Alright, see ya.